Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
Better run a turn, run a Billy-o. Better run a burn, run a Billy-o. Better turn, run a Billy-o. How about that? About it, about it-o. When I'm turning, I'm a Billy-o. Oh, let me see what you got for me. Put your hands on the hands of feet. Let me in the beat. Oh, yeah. Remember when we used to work out? We used to make people. I'm going to start doing that again. In between the next segments, local and other one, we're going to do a little workout. It's Monday. Get y'all ready. Get y'all ready. Spark FM Online, #1 for urban and Caribbean music.
Hey, hey, hey.
More hip-hop, more vibes, more entertainment, more everything that you need to get your day
more
what it
and
needs.
more.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
We are live in the building, Saucy and Friends in the morning every Monday through Friday from 9 to 11. Rockstone Triz, Miss Tony B. Knowin, and your girl, Miss Hot Sizzling Source. We in the house.
We in the house.
Tony in the house.
Tony in the house.
Rockstone in the house.
House.
Yes, sir.
Saucy in the
Hey,
house.
hey. So quick check-in. How you doing, everybody? We want to hear from you guys out in the audience, too. Let us know how your weekend was, how it's going, what's going on. We are here to hear your plight.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, that's what we're here to do. We trying to hear it.
Hear it out.
Mike Nice. More coffee Monday.
More.
no coffee over here.
Tristan is triggered.
What happened? Tell us the coffee story.
Oh, man. So I messed around Friday morning and went and got me a Dunkin' Donuts, caramel frap.
Uh-huh.
And, I don't really drink coffee like that. Something told me just to go get some coffee. I think I was running some early. When I came back from the airport.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
I came back from the airport. And, boy, I paid for it. I think I'm still paying for it.
Coffee is definitely a diuretic.
Yeah, I didn't know. So the whole weekend, I just had diarrhea.
Yeah. When I'm feeling a little backed up, when y'all see me drinking coffee, that's what it is.
Trying to regulate my system.
Yes.
That's what I was telling them this morning. I said people usually drink coffee too.
Yeah.
To expel their waste.
Oh,
and then I had oatmeal yesterday.
Oh.
So
and then he might be a little lactose intolerant.
So I think that's
lactalosis.
Lactalosis.
You got lactalosis.
Yeah, a little lactalosis. A little case of the lactalosis going on.
Oh boy. So that was your weekend, huh? That's crazy.
It's still going on into this week.
Still here.
Mike Nice said it was too sweet with the caramel swirl. Ew.
It was.
Ew.
Mike Nice.
Yeah. I had an amazing weekend. Oh, what a good weekend I did have.
I saw you out and about.
No, well, yes. Well, that was a surprise because that was not part of the plan. My plan was to lay in my bed for 48 hours. And I got to about 36. But then the Sauce called and was like, hey. And I was like, all right.
Let's go.
And we was outside yesterday.
But Saturday too, onto you, like what you, what was the first Saturday that I did not leave I had to for certain things.
Yeah.
But like I just sat down
all
day.
Yeah.
That was a good day.
I was in my bed for the entire of Saturday. I called and had groceries delivered. I got up to shower. And then I got up to go get food, and that's it. I was in my bed all 20. Sometimes
that's what you need.
23 and a half hours.
23 and 1.
Yeah, I was in my bed on Saturday, and that was my plan for yesterday as well. But then Sauce called, and she was like, hey, guess what? I got Comcast called us up, and they said they invited us to the Celtics game. And so we went, and what a time was had. We were sitting up in a suite with them. There was food and drinks flowing. We got free mugs.
Oh, very nice.
Very good mug.
Very good.
What's in that?
Sturdy.
Did it have an
my
extra
tea.
one?
Your tea?
Yeah, my tea. isn't.
I could potentially find you one.
It's not filled with tea.
Nice.
But because this is huge. This is a 40
That
ounce.
is very big.
It's
it is.
Great
It
for
is.
carnivals.
Yeah, I know. And you know what we got
Carnival.
when we went to Trinidad Carnival? They gave us these neck things that wrap around the cups.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you just
nice.
wear them. Oh my God, it was the best thing that anybody's ever given me. And then after we left there, we went and we celebrated with Salvage Roots. We're celebrating their 6-year anniversary at the karaoke spot out in Quincy. And we sang last night. Whoa, we sang.
And Tony got a chance to sing her one song that she loves to sing,
I
Fantasia.
did. I sang Fantasia.
Y'all didn't get that on the camera?
With a,
Yes, I did.
Yes,
I
you
did.
did get it on camera, and we also sang. We it was so many songs that we sang, but I started out with Whitney Houston's "Wanna Dance with Somebody," and that was so fun. Thank you for sending me the little video with the little boy singing like me this morning.
You gotta start your YouTube channel, Miss Tony.
I gotta do something.
You gotta start a YouTube channel.
I gotta start doing better with my social media. I don't know how to.
I've only been preaching to her for the last 5 years, Tristan. Just for the last 5 years.
I've got a dope life and I do dope things. So I've gotta get hip. But it was yesterday turned out to be a really, really good day. Thank you, Saucy, for dragging me out because I had a really nice time.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Hi, Opal.
Yesterday, Opal, where you been? Yesterday, I also I didn't know, we was spent. Me and my mom set out to just buy toilet paper and water. That's it. That was our plan.
Essentially.
We ended up toilet. We went to 5 stores, BJ's, and then TJ Maxx, because I also had to return something like that. But I went to 3 different TJ Maxx looking for something to wear to the Celtics.
Dang,
All of them.
that's crazy.
Crazy, because I didn't have nothing.
Where'd you find all them TJ Maxxes?
The one in South Bay, and then the one in Braintree next to the next to BJ's.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, they have so much Celtics here. I was trying to fit my big ass into a 12T, not a 12T,
Toddler.
into a 12 child sweatsuit, and that just didn't work out my way. So there we go with that.
Wow, you forced it.
Anyhow, we're gonna get this show started. We do have it's a Money Matters Monday. This is where our partners from Chase Bank come in and talk to us about something that's really, really, really important. Good morning, Jess. This is awesome for you because today we're talking about we're talking about mortgages before marriages. We're talking about relationship finances. We're talking about budgeting in your family and all kinds of different things with Alex E. Edwards and Ivan over from Chase Bank. So make sure that you guys are tuned in, get your pen and paper because we're going to talk about it later on today. With that said, let's get this show on the road. Saucy and Friends in the Morning.
I didn't even know. Look, I can look my shirt.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the Morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz. You're listening to Spark FM online.
Call Spark FM at 617-272-3387.
Join us on Facebook and Instagram at sparkfmonline.com.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up Magazine, D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall.
Every Saturday, rap attack.
Yep.
All right, it's today's Monday.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? Because when you're actually doing the song, you know the song, but then when you're doing it, you don't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I realized that last night in karaoke. Before we get into the show though, what did you guys watch over the weekend? Did you watch any good TV? Because I did.
I finally watched the movie with SZA and Kiki.
What did
How
you think
adorable
of it?
is that?
It was really cute.
That was a fun movie.
It was really
I
cute.
hated it.
Really? It was a remake of one of them. What is it? All About the Benjamins or
it was like-
Quick Scheme or something with Cedric.
It seemed like a lottery ticket
That
with
one.
Bow Wow.
Yes.
Was that it? Lottery? Because it was like a combination of like Friday.
Yeah.
It was a couple of things.
It was a very old school type movie, which I liked.
Yeah, me too.
Like those kind of movies.
And
that we
they
used to
did a
watch.
good job just kind of showing the the ups and downs of friendship and all kinds
Go
of
ahead,
stuff.
SZA. Okay. look,
Yeah.
Versatility. I like that. So I watched that. I
It was
watched
just a
it.
little too long for me for no reason.
It was only like an hour and a half.
It was like an hour and 50 minutes.
Was it?
It only needed to be an hour and 20.
I thought it was cute.
12 minutes.
I don't know.
It was
felt
cute.
very long.
What else did I watch? I watched a new medical drama on Netflix called Pulse.
Oh, I didn't start that. I pressed it, but then I
love me a medical drama, so I was into that. I binge watched that whole thing, and then I started The Bondsman with Kevin Bacon on Amazon Prime, and that's kind of gory, but it's good. It's one of those
like Kill Billish.
yeah,
Quentin
more
Tarantino-ish?
like a Shaun of the Dead, so like a funny gory
What
comedy.
is it? What
Oh,
is
I like that.
The Bondsman
The Bondsman.
with Kevin Bacon.
It's a it's obviously a comedy.
Yeah, it's a horror comedy
I
situation.
like the horror comedy.
Yeah, me
Wait,
too. Because
horror,
yeah,
like
Horror,
scary
horror.
horror.
like
Yeah,
very
it is.
gory and so basically he's a bail bondsman that gets killed and gets hired to come back to hunt demons.
Oh,
Yeah, and so like I can watch scary movies like that.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, Footloose. Kevin Bacon. I want
Not a big fan.
Footloose.
Kevin Bacon. Somebody said do an impression of Kevin Bacon, and they did this. Look.
Oh, that's rude. I like Kevin Bacon. And I started watching another show called Dying for Sex.
Oh, wow.
Which is a very, very
on
interesting little show.
Netflix?
No, it's on Hulu. So it's
I think I saw that.
a woman that gets diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yeah.
And she decides that she doesn't want to live the rest of her days with her husband who she's been with.
Ah.
And she wants to die with her best friend. So she's like living out the rest of her life with her best friend. So it's really, really interesting.
To have sex?
So her husband, she had one kind of sex. She had one kind of cancer, and she recovered from that. And then but while she was recovering, her husband was taking care of her. He decided he wasn't gonna have sex with her, and all she wants is to have sex.
Oh wow!
And so she's like, I'm not gonna be with you if you're not gonna give me nothing while I'm dying
Absolutely,
this
you gotta give
time.
me
So
something while I'm
so she leaves him, decides that she's gonna live out
she's
the rest of her
dying.
days with her best friend. Yeah, she has terminal cancer, and it's comedy, but it's very touching, lighthearted. It's really cute.
Black comedy.
Yeah, so I like things like that. So.
Lawanda said you gotta watch Laid on Peacock.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Jess and Chris finally started watching Paradise.
Paradise is so good.
And
Very, very good
anybody
show.
else watch anything else?
There's
I watched the Damon Wayne's Shannon Sharp interview. Very nice. Very
Oh,
nice.
really?
Really?
Dope, really dope.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
I watched about 3 hours of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Damon Wayans and his son have a new show. Mm-hmm. I'm not really interested in
I forgot what
watching
it's called.
that.
It's a funny show. I watched a couple of episodes.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
funny
mad
show.
silly though?
I'm not mad silly, no.
Oh, okay. Because them two is mad silly. But anyhow,
Getting silly.
mad silly.
All
All right,
right.
we're gonna get into the show real quick.
Yes, sir. Today is
Wanda said
Monday.
it sucks.
Oh, it sucks. Really? Okay. See, yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but yeah.
Today is Monday. It is Monday, April 7th. It is approximately 9:34 in the morning. Rain likely today. High 41 degrees. Winds in the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain is 100%. But
Yeah.
let me hold on. It's
Doing
all
it.
day?
It's doing it.
Like all day. I knew it was supposed to rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Oh.
But it is all day.
Okay.
It's all day up until about 10 to the PM.
Wow.
Actually, a pretty wet week.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
weekend. Because Saturday was the rainiest of it, and
Yep.
it just downpoured all day. It was nastily wet.
Yep.
And then Sunday morning was the same way, but then it cleared up, and then it just started being wet.
And it's hailing right now, so there's
Really?
there's little
Balls?
balls dropping out.
This
the sky
whole
right
week
now.
is rain.
Oh.
But you know what though? You know what I've noticed? The trees are starting to bloom already.
Yeah, man.
And I was like,
And
okay,
the flowers, the
April
flowers as
showers bring May flowers. All right,
Hello.
okay.
Hello.
The tulips is out.
Oh, the tulips is out. Oh yes, tulips for Easter come out around Easter. Very nice. I like it. It's cool. It's alright.
Oh yeah, Papa's house is called Papa's.
Oh, Papa's house. I knew it was Daddy's home or something like that. But yes,
Daddy's home, Papa's house.
Yeah, Daddy's home. Like that. Because I'm in a singing mood. I've been singing since last night. I haven't stopped singing.
I've been singing.
Yeah.
I've been singing. Okay, so with that said, let's get into the show. Around the Way news starts now. Let's go.
All right. So Mayor Wu goes on record on her re-election campaign. So she officially announced her re-election campaign about her re-election campaign, housing and safety. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. Those comments in that, the boys' comments.
What happened?
What
What comment?
I got
Whoa! This boy was complaining about a local restaurant and added Mayor Wu in one of his comments.
He called her like Suhan.
Su Young.
Wow.
And you people are so disrespectful.
People are rude. Anyhow, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is running for re-election this year, hoping that a recent win streak with her will extend her historic administration. However, Wu not only faces competition locally in the upcoming Boston mayoral race, but she also has many opponents with President Donald Trump's administration in Washington, D.C. On Saturday, Wu officially announced her re-election bid, though she had already told WCVB's On the Record that she was running during her previous appearance on the show. Wu recently got a victory in court over the construction at White Stadium in Boston's Franklin Park, as well as much praise over her testimony she gave to the House Oversight Committee on Boston's immigration laws. However, the bar for incumbents is very high, and many voters are still angry and frustrated. Wu has asked how she would make her case to Boston voters to convince them to re-elect her. We have accomplished so much in Boston over the last 4 years, Wu said. We have made historic gains with the safety statistics. We're the safest major city in the country. At the same time, we created the most affordable housing, expanded childcare to the most seats that we've ever had, created job opportunities for young people and for the life sciences and healthcare, and we're partnering to every possible industry. And we have so much more to do. This needs to be a family for cities, and we can be the example that the rest of the country needs. Wu was asked if she had done enough to bring down the cost of living in Boston. It's incredibly tough right now, Wu said. The pressures on families everywhere have been exacerbated by the federal government's actions. And this is also good that we're going to get into that conversation that we're going to do with Money Matters Monday, because that touches on what she just mentioned. Wu said federal government's trade war and new tariffs have made it much more difficult for new housing to be built, which in turn makes it more expensive for families to afford housing, groceries, and other basic amenities in Boston. What the tariffs? Child, the tariffs is the cause for everything. You see the girl in the elevator said the tariffs. We're doing everything we can in Boston, Wu said. We're proposing investments and a budget that is sound and right at the balance point to be prepared for the worst case scenario while keeping our communities stable and creating opportunities locally.
Are being exacerbated by the federal government's actions. Day after day, we see new headlines coming out about executive orders that are starting trade wars with other parts of the world or adding tariffs that are inevitably going to come back to prices at the grocery store or construction costs as people are seeking housing. So we are doing everything we can in Boston. We're proposing investments and a budget that is sound and right at that balance point to be prepared for the worst case scenario while keeping our communities stable and creating opportunity here locally.
Your opponent, Josh Kraft, accuses you and your team of simply not listening to people. He points to issues like White Stadium and some members of the neighborhood there, and also bike lanes, which many residents and businesses have certainly complained about. Should you be more attentive to residents and businesses in the city?
Good question.
You know, what I pride our administration on is really not shying away from the hard issues. I've been in city government for over a decade now, and I know that we tend to have the same conversations about the same challenges year after year after year, and often nothing happens. And it's because these are tough problems to solve. The city is very opinionated. We have amazing activists and advocates and people from a wide range of views. We seek to create the spaces where everyone can have a say, be involved.
You're backpedaling as well.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't think she's answering the question.
What I would say is that this isn't about checking a box and moving on with any city policy. It's not like at the national level where you can talk the talk and then people don't have to actually check if you accomplished anything. When you do something at the city level, it has immediate impact and then it has impact over time. And so we are always striving to make sure that the decisions that we make, the designs, the streets, the buildings, the sidewalks, are actually what the city needs as we continue to see an evolving economy and how people use our streets and how
But
people
did
get
she
around.
still answer that question
yet.
That wasn't a good answer. Yeah.
But are you listening?
Yeah, like, are you aware that that's what the city is saying? It reminded me a little bit of watching the Republican Party, how you can ask them a question and you can get so caught up in all of the words
All the
behind
words, yeah.
the answer that you completely forget, number one, what the question was,
Right.
and number two, did you actually answer that question?
Right, and then in my opinion, that wasn't a hard question to answer.
Yeah, like,
do you need to listen more?
Yes, I do. We all need to listen
Yeah,
more, and I
right.
will do my best to listen more and to make sure that I'm touching on the areas that they find. Like, I feel like there was an easy answer to that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
an easy answer. Yeah.
Very interesting.
That is interesting.
Maybe she heard different.
No, because I don't think how. I mean, but the lady like reiterated.
She stopped. She checked her.
Yeah.
And then reiterated.
Yeah.
And then, but I also think that is politician speech too.
That
like to just
what
talk around
political
something.
theater that Carlos talked
Yeah, like it's just very, very odd to me. Like
Yeah.
I would have been like, and then after I would have been like, did I answer the question?
Right?
Yes,
Like, did
or
I
no?
answer the question for you?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I
All
just
she
want to
had
make
say
sure.
is, it's a lot of opinions, and we listen to some. And,
Yeah, we
weigh
weigh the
them, and,
options.
I think no, but I think she
Vet
needed
them.
to like. We were taught in school when you're answering a question,
Yeah.
right? Like when you're writing an answer to a question, you have to write down what
Repeat
the,
it, yeah.
what the question was. Is there a dog? I did not see it. No, I don't think there was a dog or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for her to come back and reiterate, like, but the question is, she should have been like, yes, I do think that I need to listen. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that key word needed to be in her answer, and I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It's crazy. Like being here and doing the work that we do here.
Yep.
We see things in a different light from a lot of other people now.
Yeah.
That I hadn't noticed before. But
It's
I
a
didn't.
blessing and a curse too.
Yeah.
Because like I want to be willfully, ignorant.
Some- Yeah.
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 I want to
Yeah.
act like I don't
Yeah.
know. But when
Yeah.
you're reading these things and you're digging deeper and you're doing the research about it and you're like, but that's not it. You
Yeah.
know, like that's
Yeah.
not how that works
Right.
at all. So it's going to be this race is going to be interesting because we might have some deflection coming for her camp while we have some big aggression coming from Josh's camp. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see where the people, draw the line.
Right, and along the lines of that, I really hate that Domingos is getting lost in the sauce with all of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
because
yeah.
we haven't heard anything from him, have
officially
we?
started yet.
No,
Oh,
he
he hasn't.
did.
He
He
did?
did.
He
He
officially
did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Let me
About
set that
about
up
a week
right
and a half
now.
ago.
Yes. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so that's what's going on. But anyhow, of course, we're going to be paying very, very close attention to that because that is very, very, very important for us here. What else do we have? 3 Harvard students and 2 recent graduates have their visas revoked. What is going on?
Because they probably protested against Trump, and now free speech only means free speech if you don't protest against Donald
If
Trump.
you agree with Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so 3 students at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and 2 recent graduates had their visas revoked, the school confirmed on Sunday. Over the past 3 days, the Harvard International Office has learned that 3 students and 2 recent graduates have had their student visas revoked. The university learned of the revocations during a routine records review. The HIO notified the students of the revocations and referred them to legal assistance, Harvard said in a statement. No reason was given as to why the visas were revoked. We are not aware of the details of the revocations or the reasons for them, but we understand that comparable numbers of students and scholars in institutions across the country have experienced similar status changes in roughly the same time, Harvard said.
Chicago Law School. Thank you so much for being with us. Can you help us understand what authority the Secretary of State is using to remove these students?
So it's you cancel the visas or deport anyone who, when necessary, to further the foreign policy interests of the United States. This is a, on its face, broad provision. But it is a very exceptional provision that has been used very rarely, so we know relatively little about it.
And so does the Secretary of State even have to articulate what the compelling foreign policy interest is, or can he just assert it and that's all he has to do?
The general principles that apply when the government is targeting people for their speech, as it clearly is in this case, is it has to make clear the basis for its actions. And presumably this applies here as well. And the Secretary of State definitely has articulated the bases. He said that Khalil and the other activists who are being detained or deported for their speech, they engaged in speech that was anti-Semitic and therefore contrary to the policy interests of the United States. This is an incredible basis for exclusion because it suggests that what the government is targeting here is people's political expression, their willingness to articulate positions that they think are pro-Palestinian and that the administration considers to be anti-Semitic. And so it is a direct challenge to the general principles of the First Amendment that say, look, the government can do many things, but it cannot target or punish people because it doesn't like their political viewpoints. This is understood to be at the core of what the First Amendment protects.
And I want to get back.
Can't they say that these people are not American, so they can't do it? Or because they're in American soil, they have those constitutional protections?
Well, they should. That's what Sonny Hostin said.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit American soil with a visa, you're supposed to have those constitutional protections. But it seems like this administration is ignoring that and just doing whatever they want. Last month, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said that about 300 student visas has been revoked nationwide. Wow. 300. That's friggin' ridiculous.
So you can protest. So is it okay for them to protest against Palestine?
No. Yes.
So they just can't. They can't be anti-Semitic.
They can't be anti-Semitic and pro-Palestinian or pro-Palestinian.
So the protesters that are the Jewish children can protest against Palestine? Can they?
Anti-Semitic is anti-Jew.
Yes. So if the Jewish students want to protest against the war in Israel against the Palestinians, are they being revoked too? Is it only if you are protesting Israel? So, okay. Yes. Do y'all know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, does the opposite? Yeah. Does the opposite apply as well?
Right.
Am I gonna get my visa revoked if I'm a Jew protesting the war?
You have, as long as you fall in line and don't say anything against what Donald Trump and them said, like how you said.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So if you're not in line with what they say, then they're targeting you.
So again, like the lady was just saying, that's an absolute, whatchamacallit of constitutional violation.
Yeah.
But we're not following the Constitution in this administration.
No.
That's what we have concluded and that we do know. The Constitution means absolutely nothing unless Donald Trump says that it does.
Yeah, because there's a new Constitution. It's called
Trump's
2025.
Oh, okay. All right.
What's it called?
Trump's
Project.
Yep.
25. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, exactly. Fall River police arrested in a child sex sting operation. So a Fall River police officer is facing multiple. I gotta go to a different one of those. Sorry. What'd you say?
No, go ahead.
The Fall River Police Department said one of their own was arrested by the Boston Police Department's Human Trafficking Unit. According to a post on the department's social media page, Officer Mitchell Walsh, 28, was taken into custody as part of a sting operation related to an ongoing investigation. At the time of his arrest, Walsh was on leave from the department due to unrelated personal matters. Prior to this incident, the department was preparing to initiate formal proceedings under the civil service disciplinary process. His employee status is now under the further review in light of how serious new developments are, the Post read.
Here goes some more information on that.
Boston police say the arrest was part of a
glitching?
sting operation Friday in Charlestown. As Boston 25 News reporter April Baker explains, investigators claim the 28-year-old officer thought he was meeting up with a 15-year-old boy.
On Friday, April 4th, a Boston police report says this is where an undercover cop arrested Fall River officer Mitchell Walsh in Charlestown. The document states the undercover officer had been posing as a 15-year-old child, exchanging texts with Walsh for the last 6 weeks. While most of those text details are redacted from the report, it states that Walsh mentioned having sex with the child, as well as bringing cocaine and alcohol with him. Boston police say when they they arrested Walsh, they found cocaine and alcohol in his car, and they suspected he had been using drugs. As the Boston Police Human Trafficking Unit investigates the incident, Fall River Police Chief Kelly Furtado sent this statement, saying, quote, "The conduct alleged is reprehensible and stands in direct opposition to the values we expect from members of this department."
We have to be really real and upfront with them about what the risks are.
Adrienne Simeone founded local nonprofit The Mama Bear Effect. They educate adults to better protect their children from sexual abuse, especially in the age of smartphones and social media, which make youth more susceptible.
They are at a very vulnerable time in their lives because they're looking for connection with people. They don't necessarily understand risks.
Even if parents believe their children are safe, Simeone says you can never have too many conversations with them, teaching them the importance of boundaries and appropriate communication. It's important for parents to create an open dialogue. And when it comes to people with authority in the community,
these people are supposed to protect children. Our community organizations need to do a better job of vetting people who are applying for jobs.
Before last Friday's arrest, the Fall River Police Chief says Walsh had been on extended leave from the department for unrelated personnel matters. Walsh's employment is now under further review. Reporting in Fall River, I'm April Baker for your local station, Boston 25 News.
And why is his employment under review? Y'all arrested him with drugs and cocaine going to meet a 15-year-old. What is the review?
Probably on
that's
paid
happening?
administrative leave to make sure that he is absolutely guilty of committing this crime that they have already.
They said those police unions fight hard for police officers. So wow.
And even the police officers that are touching children?
Apparently. They're still in the union. That is disgusting. He's 28 though. So how long has he been? He just got there. What is his problem? That's disgusting. Hands off. Protest in Boston.
Hands off my body, my government, my social security, my life. I'm sorry. I should have been out there protesting, but I'm not.
Protest in Boston draws nearly 100,000 people rallying against Trump and Musk. 100,000 people of angry demonstrators, nearly 100,000 angry demonstrators gathered in Boston and other Massachusetts locations on Saturday for the so-called hands-off protest, one of many similar events across the country aimed to send a message to President Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Why don't we just go to Washington and have an insurrection?
Yeah. So to climb the government and start to peel back all the layers and burn and pee in everybody's office and because y'all the Democrats have this we can't stoop down to their level and do their kind of things because we're supposed to show that that's a lot of people.
Act bad.
So they were only expecting 25,000. And
they got over. That's Boston.
This is Boston. That's City Hall.
Boston was one of the cities that went viral quickly and all day when they were covering these because Boston, Boston, we love to protest over here in Boston.
Right.
Golly,
we need to have another tea party. We need to go out there on the ship, throw all the tea in the water and stuff like that. Do the thing. Anyhow, that happened. That's crazy. It's part of a growing movement calling on President Donald Trump's administration to walk back funding cuts and the blooming trade war. These demonstrations came on the heels of the latest Trump tariffs, which plunged the stock market into a 2-day free fall and wiped out more than a year of gains. Oh, Lord, let me go check my stocks.
You ain't pull your money out the stocks yet?
No, we are all under attack. So we wanted to make sure that this rally represented everyone, said Susan Labandibar of Swing Blue Alliance. Let me check my stocks real quick.
You got to pull your money out your stocks. Everybody done got
You got to pull
out.
the money you have out of them and then repurchase them at the lower price. So a tank in the stock is good.
Oh, shit.
That's a big cuss word.
I lost like $100.
Yeah, you should have took that out about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, my Jesus.
Yeah, but pull it out because it's only going to keep tanking.
Boy, I
lost over $100.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to pull these.
I don't want to look. How do I know how much I lost?
Oh my goodness.
How do I know how much I lost?
Because you knew what you had.
About the hands-off protests that took place in Boston and across the country on Saturday. Organizers are estimating that around 100,000 people crowded the Boston Common and City Hall Plaza for that rally. Demonstrators gathered to voice their disapproval of President Trump. Boston police say the rally was peaceful and there were no arrests.
Of course, it's a peaceful protest. That's what we do. We don't go out there climbing the Capitol and killing police officers.
Exactly.
But they want to be mad and upset because somebody burnt the Tesla. Oh my God, they are violent. They are terrible.
They should have brought a whole bunch of Teslas to this thing and had a roast-made s'mores.
I've never seen anything so violent ever in my life that they would burn a Tesla.
People in the Boston town.
Yeah, Boston went outside.
Go Boston.
And it was the majority of people of non-color, you know? We was
I love
inside.
Tesla.
No, Tesla.
I love Tesla. We will not tolerate this conduct. A masked man has been charged after he snaps over honks, hunts down the driver, and launches a racist driveway beatdown. Well, that was chock full of everything. A Massachusetts man accused of following a man home after a road rage incident and attacking him in his driveway while yelling racial slurs was jailed on hate crime charges.
In 2025, he was? That's interesting.
Wow. Police arrested 41-year-old John Thomas McNeil for the March 16th incident in Everett, a city just north of Boston. According to Middlesex County prosecutors, McNeil and the victim were stopped at a red light, and when it turned green, McNeil didn't move. When the victim honked at him, McNeil began driving aggressively and blocking the victim from turning into his driveway. When he reached his home, prosecutors wrote in a release. That sounds like that movie that I took. Remember that movie?
Was it with the Kevin spokesman?
No,
John Connor.
You know, Big Face, Beautiful
Liam
Mind.
McRoy.
The guy from Beautiful Mind.
Philip Ransacki.
You're not naming people that are real.
Okay.
So it's just really making me angry.
Beautiful Mind. Russell Crowe.
So the movie with Russell Crowe, where he went crazy because the lady honked at him and then he went around and terrorized the whole city.
Ain't that the first name I said? No?
No,
Okay.
no. When the victim, authorities say McNeil stepped out of his car and started shouting racial slurs and insults at the other driver. Then he attacked the victim by pushing and striking him in the face, all while continuing to yell racial slurs.
Wow.
After the assault, he fled the scene. After he was arrested, he was arraigned on charges of assault and battery to intimidate based on race, a civil rights violation, reckless operation of a motor vehicle, and operating with a suspended license. McNeil's bail was set at... His bail was $500.
$500 after a hate crime, after chasing somebody down, beating their ass, and then taking and then harassing them and then leaving
in their own driveway. So if this guy had stabbed him in the neck,
then he would have gone facing death penalty.
Right. But would be self-defense, penalty. His next court date is May. In Middlesex County, we are committed to appropriately charging and holding accountable those who threaten and assault others because of their race and ethnicity. In this case, the defendant is alleged to have taken a horn beep in traffic as justification for a pursuit, a barrage of racial slurs, and an assault. Such random violence, especially when coupled with hate, is extraordinarily dangerous to individuals and to our community. We have previously
So y'all let him
seen
go with $500?
how tragically these situations can end. We will not tolerate this conduct.
Yeah, he could have killed that man, or that man could have killed him, which I don't understand. You let somebody come into your driveway and beat your ass? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But on top of that,
so the other man
you gonna set it at $500?
$500.
What was the other man from?
It doesn't say.
I'm assuming they was black or
Hispanic. It's Everett. Oh, because it could have been Haitian.
Oh, yeah.
Or Hispanic, because that's what they got over there in Everest. Double Parker arrested with firearm, cocaine, heroin, crack, and cash.
That's a terrible way to get caught for double parking.
And right, so they pulled him over for double parking, and then they noticed that his inspection sticker was bad.
Oh Lord!
And so a driver of a double parked vehicle drew the attention of Boston police along Center Street, which led to a Jamaica Plain man being arrested on firearm charges and possession of a few types of illegal drugs around 2:26 p.m. on April 1st. April Fools. Members of BPD's Youth Violence Strike Force observed a motor vehicle double parked around 295 Center Street. They determined the vehicle did not have an inspection sticker. The police followed the driver after he left his car to enter the rear hallway of a building, and the front seat passenger remained in the vehicle, according to the police. Officers asked the driver to provide a valid driver's license, and he allegedly said he didn't have one, and then allegedly gave officers a fake name. He just kept getting wronger and wronger.
Every time, every move he made was the wrong move.
Upon the further investigation, they determined the driver's real name and learned that his license was suspended. Officers conducted a search of the vehicle and recovered a Taurus G2C firearm with 1 round in it and 7 rounds in the magazine. Officers allegedly recovered 2 plastic bags of 27 grams of cocaine, 2 plastic bags of 2 grams of heroin, and 2 plastic bags of 4 grams of crack cocaine. Officers also recovered 75 grams of an unknown white powder and $828 in cash. There was a front passenger who was released at the scene after searching the vehicle. That passenger was like, I'm out.
I didn't do it.
Right.
You hear the feet running away. Police arrested Yusuf Makbou, 22, of Jamaica Plain on the following charges: unlawful possession of a firearm, carrying a loaded firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, unlawful possession of a large capacity firearm, trafficking of drug B, possession of intent with distribute class A, possession with intent to distribute class B, and operation after suspension.
Throw the book at him.
Yep.
Because you're doing the most.
22.
You're doing the most.
22 years old. Yusuf Makbou.
That's him there? No, that can't be him. That isn't. Don't put his face. Probably a youth. Oh, no.
No, he's 22.
Yeah, he's a youth still, but you know.
Yeah, youth. My youth.
Yusuf McBooth.
And then, last story, 2 Connecticut women placed on bail after allegedly stealing thousands of merchandise from Massachusetts and New York. 2 Connecticut women have been extradited from New York to the Commonwealth and arraigned on organized retail crime charges in connection with thefts at an Old Navy store in the summer of 2024. Wow. Taisha Bridges, 32, and Shatoya Lewis were arraigned late Thursday in Hingham District Court on 1 count each of organized retail crime, larceny over $1,200, and 2 counts of conspiracy. Both defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges.
Read this part slow compared to our other story. Go
Bridges
ahead.
was placed on $4,000 cash bail, while Lewis was placed on $6,000 cash bail.
For stealing from Old Navy, but beating somebody's behind. Oh, hold on, sorry.
The Commonwealth requested both defendants be placed on $50,000.
Listen, but the bro that just got knocked down in his driveway and chased and hateful slurred and everything got a $500 bail.
500.
That's crazy.
Bridges and Lewis allegedly collaborated to steal merchandise from an Old Navy location.
Steal merchandise from an Old Navy. Steal clothing from an Old Navy.
In Hanover on 2 separate occasions in the summer of 2024. Hanover police responded to the store on July 9th of 2024 after reports of 3 women carrying bags full of clothing out of the store without paying. Further investigation by local law enforcement and the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office Organized Retail Crime Task Force found Bridges and Lewis were 2 of the women involved in this July incident. Old Navy loss prevention personnel determined 253 pieces of merchandise were stolen.
Because that's crazy. 253 pieces.
How? Them 2?
Yeah, them 2. No, it was 3 of them. They don't know the other one. Resulting in about $3,950 worth of losses. Okay. So their bail was well over what they stole.
Yeah.
Bridges and Lewis were subsequently implicated in separate incident at the same Old Navy location in August and allegedly stole about $920.
It's clothing and it's loss prevention and it's insurance and it's all of those things that they don't even care about or will know.
But what I don't know is what y'all come all the way from Connecticut to Hanover for?
Because they wanted to go to the white ones because they got the best deals.
I'm thinking that's when Kanye had his Old Navy line because who steal Old Navy?
Right. Like that. No, everybody steals Old Navy.
But Old Navy clothes be so cheap on the sale.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, we used to go to Old Navy and we used to rack okay? Herb.
What was the name of that other store, the $7 store? Frankenberry's?
Oh, yes.
Was it Frankenberry?
Yes,
We went to one of those out here one time, and I got a lot of things.
Yeah, we all got it.
Stephen Barry's.
Stephen Barry's.
Yes. Go ahead.
We'll be right back in a few minutes with Money Matters Monday presented by Chase Bank. We'll have Alex E. Edwards in the studio and we'll be talking to Ivan Cutts on the phone about Money Matters. With that said, we'll see you guys in a few seconds. Be right back.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the Morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
Advertise your business, brand, or music on Spark FM. Contact us at sparkfmonline.com for more information.
What is this, Doctor?
This is
Well, Spark of New England. Spark FM.
Bringing the heat back to the airwaves.
Turn us up.
All right, let's take a look.
Boston Moonbox Productions proudly presents Crowns, a powerful and jubilant musical mixing gospel, jazz, and a little bit of hip-hop. Hats take center stage with an uplifting story exploring black history, identity, and the power of sisterhood through the eyes of a young black woman. It's a celebration of self-expression, tradition, and of course, fabulous hats. Get ready to clap your hands and tap your feet because these ladies have serious attitude. Don't miss Crowns. Opening April 11th through May 4th at the Arrow Street Arts in Cambridge. Tickets are just $55 at arrowstreetarts.org. And for flexible pricing, check out Pay What You Wish option at the box office. Crowns. April 11th through May 4th. Come for the hats, stay for the celebration.
Praise the Lord, City of Boston. This is Brother Chris right here on Spark FM.
Come on, sing it.
Bringing you Sunday morning worship each and every Sunday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. Let's get our praise on.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Each and every Saturday night from 6 to 9 p.m. inside the Avenue, where you bring the drinks and we bring the vibes. My name is Gary Banton alongside my co-host Big Trini right here in SparkFMOnline.com, the #1 place for soca, hip-hop, R&B, and more. Each and every Saturdays from 6 to 9 p.m. It's the Avenue.
Boston's new home for urban Caribbean music. Spark FM. Spark FM. Playing all your favorite hits from reggae. Spark FM.
If you no mess with where you are gonna see a million. We got the Congo long just like the Amazon.
Spark FM.
I know that life is not easy. No say we are for winning. Walk with the camera like Jesus.
Soca. Hip hop.
Yeah, we on and we going crazy.
R&B.
You could do damage. You could do damage.
Afrobeats and much more. Spark FM. Spark FM.
You're listening to Spark FM online.
Boston's new home for urban Caribbean music. Spark FM. Playing all your favorites.
Good afternoon. Good. Hello.
I don't hear nothing there. No.
Hey, all right, yes, hello. We were experiencing a tad bit of technical difficulties for 2 seconds just now, but we are back in the building as we fix everything. There we go. We got music, we got volume, we got it all. And a little change in schedule. We're going to go into our national news. And then when we come back, we will go into Money Matters Monday. We're having a little bit of it's raining outside. It's just nasty outside. And it's making everybody's life a little bit more complicated. So here at Spark FM, we like to pivot and adjust our time. But we will be hearing from Alex and Ivan very, very soon. But let's get into our national news. Global markets plunged to the ground. They are in the ground. They were under where they're supposed to be. We are in a deficit. We are losing money. It is World War VII. Please, everybody scream, run for the hills. We
hide
are there.
your wife, hide your kids.
Hide them all. Hide them all.
Take your
Especially
money
if
out the
they
stock
immigrants.
market.
You better hide them because they is coming for them.
Hide your money.
Global markets
there
plunge.
it is. There it is.
Trump tariff turmoil sends European and Asian stocks into a tailspin. Where is it? What?
No, just now, I don't know what just happened, but I was able to hear everything, and then it went away again.
Global markets plunged on Monday, deepening a global stock rout triggered by U.S. President Donald Trump trade war and China's forceful response to unexpectedly high tariffs. Germany's DAX opened down 9%, while London FTSE was about 5% lower. European markets were, on the whole, faring better than Asian markets in early trade. Japan's benchmark Nikkei 2025 index closed at 7.9 lower, while the border topics finished down 7.7. Tech giant Sony plummeted more than 10%. Don't know what any of that means. However, I feel like it's all bad because they're saying down, 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 and nothing has gone up. Everything gone up. Everything gone up.
I have some more on that right now.
Yes, go for it, because I don't know.
Asian stock markets as the fallout from this continues to reverberate around the world, Brian.
Karis, as you were just saying, major indexes in Asia taking a massive beating on Monday. Donald Trump's latest round of tariffs will bring U.S. import duties on Chinese goods to 54%.
Wow.
Chinese stock exchanges were actually closed on Friday when Beijing announced that it would be retaliating with its own 34% tariffs on U.S. goods. As trading reopened Monday, it was indeed a bloodbath. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index down more than 10.5%. It's its worst day since the 2008 global financial crisis. Tech sector, banking, retail, all sharply down. HSBC shares are off by some 14% there. The Shanghai Composite, meanwhile, down more than 6%. The Nikkei in Tokyo falling also more than 6% to an 18-month low. Japan's banking index is down 17%. And those losses come on the heels of sharp drops on.
Yeah, we don't know what too much of that mean, huh?
Shit, it all sound bad.
This down. This
All
is
it
terrible.
means is bad.
When you start off a segment with this is a bloodbath, there's nothing in it that is,
Right.
that is rather normal.
Turmoil, bloodbath, tailspin. Sheesh.
There's nothing good there.
Nothing.
All of this in the dictionary, looking for synonyms for bad. This is all bad.
But if y'all have money in the stock market, take it out. You should have took it out a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't plummet that much. I think
Yeah.
my stocks were a little bit stable, like Chipotle.
Oh,
that ain't
I
never
got some
going.
Chipotle too. And I mean, I know $100 isn't a lot to lose, but these are my little stocks.
Yeah, this is the tiny little stocks.
I was doing pretty good in there.
Hurt my heart.
Yes.
Musk calls for zero tariff situations between U.S. and Europe, slams Trump trade advisor. It's not Trump's trade advisor that's doing this. It's just Trump. Elon Musk called for a zero tariff situation between the U.S. and Europe on Saturday amid stock market trepidation about President Donald Trump's massive new tariff regime. Musk made the comments which run counter to the sweeping tariff Trump's promised last week to impose on the U.S. trading partners, including Europe nations, to a group of Italian conservative politicians on Saturday. At the end of the day, Elon said, I believe, I hope it's agreed that both Europe and the United States should move ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America, the tech billionaire told Matteo Salvini, the leader of Italy's right-wing League Party. No fun. Tariffs were the centerpiece of Trump's economic pitch on the 2024 campaign trail, and he has repeatedly characterized them as leverages to address trade disparities. The tariffs give us great power to negotiate, always have, he told reporters on Air Force One last week, without providing specifics on how low rates could potentially go. On his social media platform X, Musk also laid into Peter Navarro, one of the top trade advisors in the White House, officials who took to TV airwaves this week to defend the president's controversial tariffs plan after the stock market plummeted to the ground and died. When an ex-user praised Navarro and pointed out he has a doctorate from Harvard in economics, Musk did a PhD in econ It's a bad thing, not a good thing.
Oh my.
Another ex-user defended Navarro must reply that he ain't built anything using an expletive. He ain't built shit, is what he said. Neither has Elon.
Right.
Elon has bought all of his companies.
He's bought everything. He's
literally bought everything.
Everything that he has, he's bought.
He is the richest man in the world. Mm-hmm. He can buy everything. Let's hear a little bit from Donalito. Donalito Coneltari.
China is, they say the market's spoken. The market, China is right now taking a big hit because everyone knows we're right. They have to pay tariffs because otherwise we have a surplus, and they have a surplus with us that is not sustainable. I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
Was he
Trump
on a plane?
has called on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said there would be a lot of waiting and watching before any decisions would be made. And the tariff effects have been widespread. The Australian dollar dropped to levels seen last time during the early pandemic. Tokyo's index dropped nearly 8% at one point today. Hong Kong's dropped 9.4%. Other global stocks took major hits as well. So investors will face more wild swings in the coming days and weeks.
And so will everybody's 401k.
Not my 401k.
It's all of them because they're based off of stocks.
I got a 403b. Is it the same thing?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's just a non-profit one.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that these 401ks are based off you making, educated and educated and stable risk in the stock market. So when the stock market drops, so does everybody's 401k.
Good morning, Sierra.
Yeah, that's what that is there. Rubio says U.S. is revoking all visas held by South Sudanese passport holders.
Yes.
Why?
Because they's black.
Oh, okay. Secretary of State Mark Rubio, who is a boob.
Why can't he get deported?
He will. He just got to be out of uniform and out of the way of everybody. He could. Definitely. Says Saturday at the United States was revoking all visas held by South Sudanese passport holders, accusing the African nation's government of taking advantage of the United States.
What?
Every country must accept the return of its citizens in a timely manner when another country, including the United States, seeks to remove them, Rubio said in a statement, adding that South Sudan's traditional government has failed to fully accept the principle. Besides revoking visas, Rubio said the U.S. would prevent further issuance to prevent entry into the United States by Southern Sudanese passport holders. South Sudanese political landscape is fragile, and recent violence between government troops and opposition groups have escalated tensions. Last week, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged regional and international leaders to prevent South Sudan from falling over the abyss into another civil war. That's what I meant to read. What is civil war? What happens in it? What is it? What?
It's the country not agreeing, so it'd be like MAGA versus us.
Yeah, it's now that, but we're not in a necessary war. When we go to war, we fighting each other in the streets?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like for real?
Like how, you fighting your neighbors.
So in 1961 to 1865 was a conflict between the Union, the northern states, and the Confederacy, southern states, primarily over the issue of slavery and states' rights, which resulted in the deaths of over 600,000 soldiers and ultimately preserved the Union.
Oh, the North versus the South.
The North or I don't know what I was saying right now. The central issue was the expansion of slavery into the Western territories and the moral and economic implications of its existence. He believed that there was a civil war over whether you should own another human because of the color of their skin or not.
And that's about to happen again.
No, it ain't. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen again. More black people would just end it all and or fight to the death. I don't think that type of, we ain't going there.
Yeah.
We got machetes and bats.
Yeah.
We ain't going there.
And gats.
And gats. Blickies.
Because the white folks is about to go there. They going there.
I want it, how does it, I got to do some research over this. Like, how does it start? Where the war going to be at? Is it going to be Everett Stadium? Like, where do we meet up to fight at? Like, how does this work?
Right.
I don't think that anybody has ever like looked into what it. Well, there's many people that have, but I've never looked into like a civil war, what it does. I know it's between one and we're all in the same place and whatever. But
And
what does it work?
Will it be here?
Yeah, like would it be here?
I think now is a little bit different because it's not just North versus South. Now it's Democrat versus Republican.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so I think we're gonna be fighting our neighbors this time.
Caller, you're live. Like, are you walking out the house and getting like bombed in the face? Hello, caller, you're alive on air. All right, call in no more. God damn it. Yeah, like where we shoot the fair ones at?
Yeah.
Is it Oklahoma?
Yeah. Do we got to take buses down there?
I don't think we're going anywhere. I think it's gonna be in front of our faces. I think it's gonna be.
Like when I leave the house, you gonna get punched in the face?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that with the Civil War is that too much. Yeah.
Because we got, now it's anybody could, Republican versus Democrat. Anybody, so it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Massachusetts, it's going to be different.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let me see
hopefully you ain't getting there, but
Boston's going to be one of them sanctuary states.
Embattled New York City spa's lawyer rejects viral UTI from a pool claim.
A urinary tract infection?
The hell is that? It's disgusting. Exclusive. Embattled NYC spa's lawyer rejects viral UTI from pool claim. Suggests whistleblower got it from romantic exploits they posted about.
Oh, the person said that they got a UTI from being in the claim.
It's a bathhouse.
Oh,
it's a bathhouse.
You going to bed?
People get naked and swim with each other there.
It's sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, is it more so? Let's read. Okay. Hoist on their own pee tract.
What?
A hipster customer helped cause an uproar that spread across the internet and into the mainstream press last month after claiming on social media they got a UTI from a Sini Williamsburg spa. But after digging into the matter, an attorney for the spa and a eureka moment, he concluded that the influencer may have got the affliction not from relaxing dip, but from other activities. I hate when people try to be cutesy and write an article.
Witty.
Yeah, witty. Just write the friggin' facts.
Yeah.
And then after put your little opinion piece or something like that.
Right.
The learned man of law and justice wrote the customer a letter in which he gently suggested that it's much more likely that they got the infection from sexual escapades, which they had posted about elsewhere online. Oh, there was something of a virtual pile on last month after a number of influencers and other online commenters claimed to have had unsavory expectations at low-lit retreat bathhouse in the trendy Brooklyn neighborhood. New York Magazine Curbed blog picked up the... I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
It's just too many... It's too many.
It's
making me seem like I can't read. And y'all know I could read. I could read, damn it. So basically, these people was having sex in the bathhouse, got a UTI, and want to blame the pool for it. And the lawyer was like, nah, it's not the pool. It's y'all being nasty and not properly peeing after sex. Exactly.
Right.
Nasty.
And everybody knows that water sex is not good.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the pool.
Yeah, sex is gross.
It's putting chlorine in your cajacolings, and that's not okay.
Right, and you can get parasites in your bang tank.
Oh, wow.
Not a parasite in my bang tank. Not the parasites in the bang tank. That's terrible. Frisco track meet stabbing.
Snyder said, "Remember when y'all read about the woman suing Geico for getting clean?"
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Snyder. That's exactly what I was
because
thinking
you was dealing with somebody nasty, got chlamydia in the car. Is the cause for?
Well, she won,
which is crazy. I'm about to
won
sue
that
about
case.
foolishness, dude. I'm about to trip and miss old place. And
This
then I'm
next
sue
story
everybody else.
is has gone pretty viral. It was something that I heard about on the internet.
So this is the young boy.
Yeah.
So there is a viral story out right now that is making its round around the nation. It's the story about two kids. that were part of a basketball team.
Football, I think.
Football or basketball.
Yeah.
They go. Let me just read the brief. Frisco PD is urging people to be on the lookout for false information. Police say misinformation is being spread online about the deadly stabbing at a Frisco track meet earlier this week. Frisco police said that the only official release from verified accounts should be trusted. So the story is Frisco police are urging people. Where is the actual story? Let me see. I'm trying to go back because this is kind of an update to the story. Basically, what happened is these two kids was at a high school sports meetup.
Oh, I found it.
Yeah.
Texas track meet stabbing suspects' lawyers plan to ask for a $1 million bond to be lowered. So the lawyer for Carmelo Anthony, a Texas high school student accused of stabbing fellow 17-year-old student athlete Austin Metcalf to death during a confrontation at a track meet on Wednesday, plans to ask for $1 million bond.
Here goes the clip right here.
Austin Metcalf was killed this week at that Frisco track meet. New documents detail what happened before and after 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony allegedly pulled a knife from his backpack and stabbed him. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now live with the latest. Alex.
Hey guys, and in that 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. The suspect then reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer who detained him that he had stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco.
That dude was extremely smart, always in the box. He just came to him real easy and just him playing with football as well just made him just a great person overall.
Here's what happened according to witnesses and the police report. Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said to Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody by a Frisco police officer, Anthony reportedly confessed to the crime, saying, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to," adding that, "I was protecting myself," and then asked the police officer, "Is he going to be okay?" Metcalf died in his brother's arms.
I'm not at that point to forgive and forget, but eventually I will. But I pray for his family. I pray that they understand what we're going through as well.
This whole community has really wrapped their arms around us. And if I'd say anything to the nation, I would say to make sure that you just hug your babies tight.
All right.
Yeah, you're not worried about that because you and your Uncle Jethro and them is about to go hunt down him and his family. So that they said that those boys
Twins.
was bullies.
So yep. They said that they were bullies. What in the tent? It was the two teams have a tent.
Yep.
They're allowed to go into each other's tents because they're allowed to go into each other's tent. It's never been something that you can't be there.
Yeah.
The little boy was in there with his friends. He was minding his business, not doing anything. And here one of the twins comes and tells them that he has to leave. They go back and forth, share some words. Carmelo did tell him, "If you touch me, you'll see what happens." The dude touched him. And he saw what happened. You effed around and you effed out.
Exactly.
And effed around and effed around and found out.
Yep.
You can't be in and this is what this administration is making it seem like these little boys can do. They said that they have had run-ins in the past and that one of the twins was always at him and always making something, always saying stuff. They had words and that. So this is not nothing new.
Yep.
And they went in there not minding their business. Tried to scare this little boy.
Yep.
They FO'd.
Yep.
And now everybody's screaming because they're making Carmelo out to be some thug.
Yep.
And he was
That's probably why he had the knife on him in the first place, is because he knows that these people had been
They
picking
said
on
he
him.
is an honor student. He has a 4.0 GPA. He ain't
was the
never
football
been in
captain
trouble.
of his team.
Yep, he ain't never been in any trouble. He
Yep.
ain't never got any arrest or anything like that. Whereas these boys have been in trouble all the time.
Yep.
And they're twins.
Yep.
And they come from probably some rural family that believes that naggers,
Yep.
you know, shouldn't do nothing.
And I'm sure they probably called him that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. It is tragic that a life was lost. Civil war. That's where we're at. You know, it's going to be civil unrest and civil war, and they're going to continue to make us out to look like demons and thugs and everything while they glorify those that are trying to oppress us.
Yeah.
And I'm nah.
And that brother knows. That brother knows.
Because he was like, I'm praying for the family and, you know, blah, blah, blah. If something happened, you would be a lot more upset. You wouldn't be praying for nobody's family that slayed your twin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy because there's that new that adolescence show that's out in on Netflix now, and I still haven't brought myself to watch it just yet, but it reminds me of what I understand the story is.
I'm glad that you brought that up. So people have been using that movie to compare this, talking about the real thugs is not displayed in this movie. Because the young white boy is the one who did the stabbing or did the killing. And he has a black best friend or something like that. So in this situation, they're making it seem like that movie is wrong because it depicts it falsely depicts a white boy of being able to cause violence, whereas the black boy in this situation is the real demon. That's how they're trying to pitch this. So it's very
so creative.
Adolescence, the series.
Yeah. I think it's an 8-part series.
13-year-old accused of murdering a classmate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we all know that it's most likely you won't be a white boy that's gonna murder a classmate. So don't be trying to.
I mean, data.
Yeah.
The data shows that the greatest threat to Americans is white males.
Yep.
We'll leave that there. Keeping it moving. National Park Service removes reference to Harriet Tubman.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Just erase history. Why y'all going through one by one? Just say there was never no slaves. Nothing ever happened to black people. And write that. Take all the history books out of the library and everything. Just put one book that says History of America and be like, America's always been great.
Nothing ain't never happened.
Nothing ain't
never happened.
And nothing
we all lived happily ever after.
Yeah. You know, the Ku Klux Klan was just around so that they was an extra part of the government to help secure the land, you know?
Oh, yes.
That's
Thank
nice.
you, Ku Klux Klan, for your service.
So National Park Service removes references to Harriet Tubman from Underground Railroad. How? How can you talk about the Okay. An image of and quote from Harriet Tubman have been removed from a national parks website about the Underground Railroad following several prominent changes to government websites under the Trump administration. The National Park Service webpage for the Underground Railroad used to lead with a quote from Tubman, the railroad's most famous conductor. A comparison on the Wayback Machine between the webpage on January 21st and March 19th shows both the quote and an image of Tubman have been since removed, along with several references to enslaved people and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. The Washington Post first reported on the changes. The website now leads with commemorative stamps of various civil rights leaders with text including the phrase Black White Cooperation. Whereas previously the article started with a description of enslaved people, efforts to free themselves, and the organization of the Underground Railroad after the Fugitive Slave Act. The article now starts with 2 paragraphs that emphasize the American ideals of liberty and freedom and do not specifically mention slavery. Oh, so maybe everybody should be free once the slaves were free.
Because all lives matter.
Yes. Tubman's removal from the Underground Railroad page is both offensive and absurd. A historian, the author of a book called The Underground Railroad, he described the new webpage as diminished in value by its brevity. You know, and we have to get very used to that happening little by little. They are going to try to erase and rewrite history in 2020.
E-racism.
Yes. E-racism.
Racism.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Guess what's coming back, y'all?
What?
Fire Festival 2.0.
No, it ain't.
There you go.
Yes, sir. We are back to the Fire Festival. Fire Festival 2.0 will not go down in Playa del Carmen, Mexico next month. And the organizers say it's because they got royally screwed by the Mexican government. Did you? Did it? Fire Festival 2.0 will not go down in Playa del Carmen, Mexico next month. And TMZ has obtained text messages sent by Fire Festival event producers saying they've been backstabbed by Mexican officials. Not mincing words, the event producer says they effed us.
Oh.
According to the event producer, the government is acting like they had no idea the festival was going down in May. The government, posted on X, Instagram, etc., giving their blessing and support. And then yesterday they say, we've never heard of them. It's hilarious. The event producer isn't holding out hope, saying the government is lying completely, adding, and at this point, we're not doing any event there, and we plan on making it very public and showing all of the evidence. The producer doubled down in the text saying, as of now, we won't be hosting a festival in Playa. The organizer is not throwing in the towel, so we will move it somewhere else. He was not more specific, and the clock is ticking fast. TMZ obtained these text messages and blah, 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 blah. My question is, yes, please play this because I'm confused.
Swirling about where the music festival will be held.
Playa del Carmen is insanely beautiful.
Just last week, creator Billy McFarland told customers the sequel to the doomed 2017 Fire Festival was being moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. But now city council officials there are refuting the city will host the event, writing in a statement, no such event with that name will take place in our city, adding there is no existence of a registry nor plans that would indicate such an event taking place in this municipality.
Our relationships with Playa may be new, but I know I speak for the rest of the team when I say we couldn't ask for a better group of people.
The statement coming just days after McFarland, his team, and a member of the local government held a press conference saying the festival there was a go.
We are very happy to have this festival in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen. We already have permits, so this is going to be very successful.
NBC News reached out to City Hall in Playa del Carmen for further clarification.
No one can get in the rooms, no one can get their bags. We've been here for hours.
The latest chaos appearing to echo the first fire fiasco 8 years ago, when organizers had to change locations 4 months ahead of the festival, putting attendees who were promised.
So what's going on? That's crazy.
Fire Festival strikes again.
I guess my question is, por qué y'all would feel that you should invest your money and your time into Fire Festival that had 7 documentaries made on it, and the man just got out of jail about 3 weeks ago.
When did he get out of jail?
For a couple of, right, for real.
Are people for real? Have people been investing in that?
Yeah.
And who was that Mexican man that said that they were excited to have it there?
He was probably one of the leaders out there.
Oh, wow.
It's just very weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, very crazy.
They should just not do it anymore. Rebrand it.
Not sure why they're allowing it. They should have said that name and you are banned from doing any festivals anymore. You have 7 documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is this? Where are they from? YouTube?
That person is disturbed because I've seen them before.
Fresh Gen, we are actually streaming on several different YouTube channels. So, you might be one over there, but you can go to a different one and see all your friends and pals.
You ain't the only one. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Twitch, you can go to Instagram.
There's 4 Facebook pages,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's Monday. Why are you there? Be better. With that said, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to come back. We got Money Matters Monday. Ivan and Alex are in the building. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
You are now listening to Spark FM.
Finally Home is a must-read, step-by-step guide that will equip any first-time home buyer with the knowledge they need to confidently make informed decisions. This book provides answers in simple and clear terms to most, if not all, of the questions you may have about credit, homeownership, and generational wealth. Finally Home equips the reader with the confidence to be engaged with the home buying process without feeling vulnerable or exploited. Tailor-Made Real Estate Easy is not just a catchy hashtag. It is real estate agent and radio personality Taylor Andre's goal. A goal to simplify one of the most challenging processes you will go through as an adult. A goal to educate you properly on credit and teach you the strategies to finding the home of your dream. It is not just a good book or an easy read. It is the secret to a seamless home buying experience.
JP Morgan Chase is making a global commitment to break down barriers to drive inclusive economic growth all over the world. We believe there is a pressing need to help more people move up the economic ladder. That is why we are investing in communities and people to create an economy that works for all, because no community should be left behind. Right here in Boston, we're focusing that work in Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, among other neighborhoods, on improving financial health. These efforts aim to address the key drivers of the racial wealth divide head-on. We're here to empower individuals, families, and small businesses by connecting them to the tools that build generational wealth and a long-lasting legacy. Chase is investing in Boston. Chase is investing in you. Visit us at the Mattapan branch at 1617 Blue Hill Avenue, where the team is waiting to help.
Looking for a meaningful way to engage with your community and make a difference? Volunteer with the Massachusetts Senior Medicare Patrol Program and help prevent Medicare fraud. Visit masmp.org. This project is supported by a grant from the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Each and every Saturday night from 6 to 9 p.m. inside the Avenue, where you bring the drinks and we bring the vibe. My name is Gary Banton, alongside my co-host Big Trini, right here in SparkFMOnline.com, the number one place for soca, hip-hop, R&B, and more. Each and every Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. It's the Avenue.
Spark FM.
I know you nasty. She be touching on her own body.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM.
Said she wanna take me away. Said she wanna take me away. Said she wanna show me the way.
Join us on Facebook and Instagram at SparkFMOnline.com. Turn us up.
Daddy, no learn. Take me loving and breathe.
Spark FM.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
Check. Spark FM Online, number one for urban and Caribbean music. We are back in the building. We didn't actually go nowhere. We just took a quick commercial break. But we are here. Spark FM, number one for urban and Caribbean music. And like we've been alluding to all morning, we got the experts in the building, because when we talk to you guys about real things, we want to make sure that we're not doing the guesswork and that we're bringing experts in to talk to you about the things that y'all want to talk about. In true Money Matters Monday fashion, we have two of those experts in the building. We have Alex E. Edwards. Most of you guys know him from everywhere. I'm not going to do too much introduction on that. And then we have Ivan Cutts from Chase Bank, who does a lot of these small business and different ways for you to build your wealth and to become financially healthy. Welcome, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Good.
How you been?
You know.
You woke up to this.
I did. I always say I'm breathing and I'm blessed. You know, that's
Very
where I'm
good.
at. Even when you're stressed out and all kinds of stuff, you're trying to find a man, trying to get a house, all kinds of stuff. All of these things, they come into place.
I know. I'm going to pay close attention to Alex because I heard him say one time that he got a mortgage and a marriage. And I was like, oh, sure.
And then he wrote
take notes.
some books and stuff about it, all kind of stuff.
I'll tell you.
Because everybody always want a little blueprint to how to do something. Nobody wants to actually take the time. So if somebody's writing books and stuff, just go read the book and do it. You teach people how to find a man too?
Do I teach people how to find a man? I teach people how to prepare to find to welcome a man.
To get your mind
Let
ready.
me open a
to
new
welcome
word.
okay.
Welcome a man.
To welcome
if you looking hard, you might find something wrong. But to welcome to welcome a good thing in your life, I could teach you.
I think that I like that. I like that.
I like
So today we're going to be talking about mortgage before marriage. We're going to be talking about couple goal settings, budgeting, savings, and credits. And just from you guys, just kind of give yourself a quick introduction and tell us, you know, what you're about and what you do.
For sure. So I'm Ivan Cuts Jr. For those that don't know me, I am the Vice President and Community Manager for JP Morgan Chase. And so very simply put, I get to facilitate and curate financial health sessions. And so what does that mean? I get to work with community members such as Alex E. Edwards to my left here to put on events like Mortgage Before Marriage. He's been doing a lot of work in the community. He'll tell you I've been reaching out to him for about a while now. So it's about time that we got together to do something.
Ain't this the story of
You
the
know,
time?
it's just, it is amazing, right? And so, but no, we're just, we're excited to partner. We want to welcome, you know, the community in. We're going to be taking an interesting spin on how to approach getting a mortgage. You know, the market is crazy right now. And I love the fact that you're saying, you know, you're not trying to do the guesswork. You're bringing in the experts, right? And so that's what we are creating it in the Mattapan Community Center. So for those that have not been there, it's at 1617 Blue Hill Ave.
I love the address.
Yeah, that part.
1617. That's for us.
1617, yes. So pull up, be there in the space. If you miss it, then you missed it. Yeah.
So, it's my first time being on the show.
Hey.
And it won't be the last.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. So I always wanted to do this. The city of Boston, you are now rocking with A-double-E. When 50 did that for New York, I was like, I can't wait to do that for Boston. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a famous clip. So my name is Alex E. Edwards. I am the owner of Thumbprint Realty and the author of Mortgage Before Marriage, Finances Before Fiance, Rockefeller Before Beyonce.
Come on, talk to him.
Look, so I wrote the book because I wanted to make sure individuals became financially independent before marriage, and I also wanted to help married couples become financially independent so they could stay married much longer as well. So that's why I wrote the book. And the last but not least reason is I had a daughter. I had a daughter, and financial abuse is real.
Say it.
Yeah,
Well, I tell you,
over 20% of women are in bad relationships they can't afford to leave because they gave up their dreams. They became a mom and said, you know what, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to take care, I'm going to hold down the household. But that guy come home or that female come home and say, you know what, I got fired. What have you done lately? Get the hell out. I'm doing something else. I'm going to marry someone else, or I'm cheating. And then you left.
Then you
got nothing.
It's so funny that you say that, and we'll start on some controversial level. Right now, it seems like a lot of men. I won't say all of them. A lot of men are trying to figure out what's the point of marriage, and if it has, if it's more beneficial to them versus to a woman. And something you just said, making sure that a lot of women are foregoing their goals and stuff to become this married person to, be taken care of by a man and don't necessarily have what they need. But at the same time, a lot of single women are hearing that it's a bad idea to take care of your goals and to be educated and to want to have some wealth before you find a man, because then you don't have nothing else.
And we have a lot of men that are worried about women worried about their finances that they don't even have. There's that.
I'll say this.
Say that.
This is not
Yeah.
this is not like a JP Morgan. I'm gonna cover up the sign. This is more of an Ivan thing. I think that it starts with you two having a conversation before you get married.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Before
try
you
to do
get
my
married or
best.
before you get into that relationship?
Both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The conversation around finances is something that's not had often at all. It's a practice that we need to break. And so for me, I like to start with my goal, then we reverse engineer a plan, and then what are the accountability measures that we're going to set for each other to be able to stick to that plan, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I share a lot of times when I'm teaching these financial health sessions is when you're talking about your finances, the toughest part about it all is dealing with the person that's in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's not the man's fault, it's not the woman's fault, it's our fault, right? One of the things I started saying to my wife, I said, do you want to be a rich wife or do you want to be a rich man's wife?
Oh.
And she said, I want to be a rich wife. And so one of her goals that she has for herself, not necessarily for us, she said, I want that G-Wagon. I said, okay, you want it, how you going to get it now? And so she's been working on how to reverse engineer from her business plan, right? Because she has one outside of what we're doing together for herself, right? She's attacking some of the real estate goals that she has for herself, right? So when he talked about mortgage before marriage, it just clicked, it aligned, personally, and then we also have, some of the subject matter experts that he's going to need, to render that financial health session as well. So the partnership just made sense.
So just a quick business, that's April 26th.
April
26th. Go ahead.
Yeah. I can be honest, right?
Yes, we love the we.
I just want
our audience want to keep it 100.
All right, we'll have unprotected sex before we talk about finances with our partner.
Crazy.
Boom.
Because that's uncomfortable.
Really think about that.
Yeah.
We are effed up here. Why is finances so uncomfortable? Why? Because we don't know nothing about it and we might be messing up and we don't want to admit that we need help.
Yeah.
So we like, all right, I'd rather, get someone in my body than even talk about finances. And let's really think about it. How many times you've been with someone you don't know nothing about when it comes to their goals, their financial goals, and then then pregnancy happens, and then you really screwed because you
really messed up because now you're locked in.
Right? So I just wanted to be honest and really talk about that. So even before we're talking about dating someone, like we really have to have some respect for ourselves financially, mentally, emotionally, the whole 10. It has to be a whole package. You have to fall in love with yourself before searching for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. You gotta get your finances right.
Yeah. So in using example, you and your wife work together, and what's that like, and how did y'all's journey lead up to this book?
All right, she's a boss.
Yes.
My wife's a boss.
Shout out to Joanna.
Joanna was a beautiful woman, a boss woman, and I'm a deep story. We was dating. We met each other on Match.com.
The paid version or the free one?
I did the paid version.
Okay, all right. That's a gem right there, y'all. Write it down.
That's the first financial step.
You got to pay for your investment, okay?
I did 6 months. I did 6 months. And I went on one date. And it was with Joanna. And I was like, all right, well.
Well, there we go.
There we go.
It's worth the investment in the 6
So
months, yeah.
We met and we was dating. And this woman never slept at my house. I'm like, you're 28 years old, 27 years old. What's going on
Come
here?
over.
Right? I'm like, come
Spend the
over.
night.
She's like, oh, nah. She's a Haitian woman, and she's like, yo, I don't leave my house until I'm married.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So I said, I'm gonna go ask your mother myself if you could sleep at my house. Because I'm Alex E. Edwards. I don't know
what nationality are you?
My parents is from Montserrat and Antigua.
Okay. You're bold West Indian. Bold-faced West Indian.
So Antigua's loose. I walk up into her mama house and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta ask you a question, mama. And she sits down and looked me in my eyes. And I knew I was wrong. Yeah. Right there, it was a clue where I was like, nah, pivot. But nope, Alex E. Edwards, West Indian side came, was like, nah, stick to it. So I said, can your daughter sleep over? And she was silent. And she said, I can't believe you come in my house and ask my daughter to sleep at your house before you ask to marry her. And She said, I like you for a reason. And I need to now figure out why do I like you. And she was like, we're gonna keep this conversation to ourselves though.
Yeah.
By the time I hit the door, Joanna Brothers knew about the conversation. But what I learned, this is what I learned. Just I won't get to that. The conclusion is I was trying to turn Joanna Edwards into someone she wasn't.
Yeah.
God sent me an angel, and I was trying to, I don't want you to be an angel. And I had to realize that quick, that this woman was an angel, a boss, everything I needed, everything I wanted. And so now being with her and understanding who she is and understanding who I am, it was real easy to start this business called Joanna and Alex,
Okay.
you know? And
I like that you said that. It wasn't
yeah.
necessarily this relationship. It was this business.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Right. That's the name Joanna and Alex, and it was very important that we didn't need each other, but we wanted each other, because
Okay.
need and want it's
Very
different. It's very, very different. If she
Very
needed
different.
me, I don't know. If I needed her, I don't know if the love, like, what is love if you need someone, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't need someone and you want to be in this relationship, I think that's true love. And she was always a huge saver. And when we started dating, I said, look, I want you to have a mortgage before marriage.
Were you already financially stable?
I already
and
had a
everything
home.
too? Okay.
I already had a home. I already was in real estate.
Okay.
She was working at Boston Medical, and so my girl, my baby, she did everything she had to do. She bought her first investment property before marriage, a 3-family, and she used NACA. She bought down the rates. She's like at a 2% right now.
Wow.
And then after that, we got married. Our tenants paid for our wedding, and they weren't invited.
Wait.
I love that. I love it. Say that one more time.
I like how
Say
you
that
said
one more
that.
time.
Wait.
Say that one more time.
I see what you did there.
City of Boston, you are now rocking with A-double-E.
Ivan, is the same thing true for you? Did you have a similar journey with your wife, or?
Absolutely not.
So this is so interesting. I love this contrast.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So for me, we were broke, right? Broke. I was trying to figure it out. So y'all know I'm 6'4". I got a 6'9" wingspan. So you know, I was trying to hoop, right?
Same.
And yeah, real talk. So what ended up happening? My goal was always real estate. I always knew I wanted to do that. And I said, well, how can I do that most effectively? I don't come from money. I don't come from financial conversations around the table, right? So tried to use my natural gift, which was, playing basketball. I was trying to pursue going overseas. Got hurt a few too many times. And what ended up happening, I'm looking at my GPA and I'm looking at my leg. And I'm like, okay, GPA is 3.5. Your leg is busted right now.
We got to weigh our options of what's most
You're
successful.
studying finance. How about you use your brain?
Yeah.
Right? And so I ended up coming back home and I finished up at UMass Boston. But all throughout that time, I was married to my wife. We were married in college. And so I was at Southern New Hampshire. She's at home. Fortunately enough, we had, the help of my parents. They actually owned an investment property. And so we were upstairs renting from them. And while I was trying to figure this whole thing out, long story short, start working for the bank, began to, make some real money, understanding how to leverage my finances the right way. And so that's when we, went out and purchased our first investment property, right? And so my goal was to reverse engineer our retirement, right? And so I was sitting in front of many wealthy clients, and all of their diversification always landed in some way, shape, or form in real estate.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Either they were investing in the stock market in REITs, or they actually owned physical properties. And so I said, okay, I got to take a page from their own book, because success leaves clues, right? They're sitting in front of me, and they're in the space that I want to be in. And so how do I do that now?
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to, instead of purchasing our single family home, we're going to get our investment property. So that's what we started to do. We own it, it's fully leased, all the things, and we've learned a lot of lessons through that. And we're just, growing that portfolio now.
So, coming from both of you guys, I guess, obviously we want to be in a place where we're not broke to start off.
Not the case now. We good now.
What's the first steps? You meet somebody, you're conversing, and you realize you're having a financial conversation. How do we start to build individually so that we can start to build our business together.
I think as Ivan said, like, success leaves clues, right? Instead of on that first date talking about what's your favorite color.
What is your credit score?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, what's your credit score? Like, what do you find out goals, right? Like, if you could find out goals, the thing is, you want to find out their goals and dreams before you fall in love with them, because it's going to be hard to leave them once that emotion is there, right? So on that first couple of dates, you really trying to understand who this person is, and you're not making any commitments though. Like this is, you might don't even call it a date to say, hey, we just want to get together,
meet up.
No commitments. I think when we go wrong, we make that commitment and we feel like, oh, I can't go on another date because I was seen with this person. Stop making commitments so early. You know what I'm saying? Ask these questions. When you get a job, it's an application you got to fill out. That's
and then 90 days.
90 days you on that probation. So why aren't you allowing people to fill out your application? Right? So I think understanding a person before you make a commitment is so important. You let your emotions run wild instead of your mind. You know, your heart will rip you off. Your mind,
say it again. Your heart will rip you off.
Your mind will kind of be like, oh, look, something's wrong here. Your heart be like, nah, you know, nothing wrong. They good money.
The only thing I would say in contrast is find the values first. The values are going to shape your goals, right? So that person's values is what you should focus on first, and knowing your values as well is going to be extremely important. So falling in love with yourself, to Alex's point earlier, is extremely important, understanding what those values are. And if their values align, perfect. Now we can start talking about goals, right? And so, you know, even in the sessions that we teach, right, I start from your values first. What are your values? I was just
about to go into, like, what are we teaching in this workshop?
Definitely. So definitely going to start with goal setting, right? And that's also tied to your values. Your values, or the engine, or you hear people say, what's your why, right? Your why is the engine to the car. I don't know how any of y'all try to lose weight. I know I lost a couple pounds, right?
I got a dog, started walking.
There you go, boom. But my why is my daughter, right? She's one now. She's running around. I want to be able to run around with her and spend time with her and live a very healthy, active lifestyle. I can't do that if I'm overweight. I can't do that if I am, if I'm not financially stable either, right? And so, for me, a lot of my goals align with her future. And so when I don't feel like getting up in the morning, or when I don't feel like stretching and working out and being active, guess what I do? I have a picture of her in my phone, and I see her. When I want to sit and scroll through Instagram, before I unlock my phone, I got to look at her. Let me put this down. Let me get to work. Right. Let me go work out. Let me put in some extra time. Right. And so those values, that why, that engine to that car is going to push you beyond what it is that you feel in the moment, your heart, right? And so we talk about that and how does that translate into your goals. And then from your goals, right, how do we reverse engineer a plan or a budget, right, to help you meet those goals?
A budget. Right? We keep hearing that over and over from our good friends at Chase.
1,000%. And so after we transition from budgeting and how to actually save, right, if you got some money set aside to purchase that home, then we're going to bring in Alex and a few other subject matter experts. Yes, I'm being ambiguous on purpose because we want you there in the space. But we have a few other subject matter experts that are going to come in and give you some real life games, some real life products on how to take it to the next level by executing on that plan.
Things that you guys cover are goal setting, budgeting, saving, credit, and then leading into home ownership. Should all of them things happen before that? Before I own a home? I got to do all of that? At the same, there's no easy way out?
There's no easy way out. No shortcut. You shouldn't even try to rip yourself off. Right?
Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself.
Amen. I mean, and a little things more. We're gonna add more stuff to the event as well.
Don't give them everything, though.
Don't give them everything.
Don't give them everything.
There's one big thing, though. I won't give them everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your mental health is important.
Yeah.
Your mental health, this doesn't make sense if your mental health is not healthy. Anything we could keep saying budget, but it'd be like, man, me and D4 was watching someone get chicken at 8:00.
Oh.
like that.
Priorities.
Like, wait a minute, what's happening here? 8?
That was lunch
You know?
for that was chicken for later.
Okay. But it's just your mental health is so important. So we'll say mental health. That's why we have a therapist there. So
Okay.
again, as my man said, we can't give everything away.
Yeah.
But we have a therapist there for mental health, but also couples coming together and make it and feeling comfortable speaking about finances together because that conversation is so hard.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to break it down to make it easy for y'all to talk about finances with a stranger, with your loved ones, so y'all could build together and not build away from each other.
Where can we find your book? If we wanted to start, is it a prerequisite of the workshop to read said book?
Oh, come on, that's a layup for me. Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Come prepared for class.
Yes, the first 100 people that purchased my book free on April 26th. The event is free already. My man was about to lose it. It's free already. My man looked at me. I felt the heat. I said, "Oh Lord, I gotta say no, sir, quick." Chase Bank believe in the whole movement, and that's why we're there. And I really appreciate this doing this event with Chase Bank. We've been speaking to higher up. This guy got me in all type of meetings, and this is not going to be the last. We're going to go bigger for the third one. This is the second one for the third one. So I gotta make sure I say no, sir. This is free. City of Boston.
What kind of feedback did you guys get from the first one?
I mean, amazing. We did some activities too. That was just we did one activity that. So it was a couple, and before it started, we asked them if they could look at each other's bank statements, right?
Oh.
And so the idea was to find how that person could help.
Yeah.
Right. So I think one person found, I noticed you buy sandwiches every day. I could go to BJ's and I could hook you up, and we could save here, right? Or then with coffee. Look, let's just buy a Correct. You're spending all this money on coffee. It's crazy. I can help you. Or then I notice your insurance. I could get a better rate, right? So just sharing that simple information. Now they're looking through the bank statements to see how they can help their partner save money.
Do you find that even into that, once we are a couple, we're still not having those conversations about finances?
Anyone's a couple here other than us?
No.
Everyone's single?
Single and ready to mingle.
All right. I don't think we talk. I think we still talking as an individual. You're married, but you acting like you're single.
Yeah.
Financially, no, I got my own bank account. That's this disaster.
Yeah.
Right. I know what Joanna has. I know what Joanna balling. So Joanna balling.
My baby got money.
For real, I'm like, damn. But I know what Joanna has. She know what I have, and we're locked in. We know where we're going. We know what we're doing for our children. But most importantly, we know what we're doing for ourselves and God. So I think, you can't be married and still act like you're single and say, hey, little things. I'm not washing your clothes. Hey, how you married not washing my clothes? You washing your clothes. You know what I'm saying? But that's I'm just saying that's an example. But with finances, you should understand and have that healthy conversation about finance. We have it every Sunday. So we sit down, we talk about our goals for the week, how we feel for our past week, and then what are our financial goals, right? So we talk about this every single Sunday because it's so important. Because poor finances lead to divorce.
Yeah,
you understand that's a partnership. It's a business.
That's the second most reason why people get divorced is because of finances.
Right. I was
so if you could get,
that's true.
If you could get your finances in order, you're going to stay in marriage much longer, right? If that's the biggest problem in a marriage, let's work on that before we get married.
Ivan, because you guys started out very
nobody got
early.
time for that.
For real?
Didn't mean to press that button. I don't know where that came from.
That was from your heart.
We're trying to find love first. Ivan, because you guys started out pretty young, was it a different, level of conversation, of openness that you guys had to have once you started to get into that position of being able to have that?
1000%, yes. We had to. It came from running into the wall a few times.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
We learned through experience. So, what ended up happening after we purchased the home, we realized, okay, somebody's upstairs because we lived in the investment property for a while. There's a popular term on TikTok and spaces where they say house hacking.
Oh.
And so someone was paying the majority of our mortgage, and it felt a lot different pulling up into your driveway.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going into your house, and somebody has to pay you for where they live.
Yeah.
Right? And so once we started to feel that pride of ownership, right? It was like, oh, now we need to 10x this. I need this again. Right?
Oh, it's a little
and so
addiction.
that it literally changes your mindset,
Okay.
right? And so when we began to realize, okay, now the money that we were spending to live is now being taken care of in another space. So, and I said that backwards. So the people that were living above us were paying 30% of their income, right? So that meant that the 30% that we would typically use for our living space went down to about 20%.
Okay.
Right? Actually, it was about 15. So what do we do with that extra 15%?
Save it.
Let's invest it.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was I was able to pay off, a lot of the credit card debt that we had, right? Because debt is a huge issue in relationships, right? And that's another thing that in that financial conversation that you have on that date. Let me see the revolving that revolving debt. Let's see what that looks like, right? Right? And when we got to a space where that debt is now gone now, that those minimum payments that were like $500, okay, that's back in our pocket too. So now it's like we got all this extra money. What do we do with it now? Right?
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Talk to me.
Was the love different when you paid off
Way
everything?
different.
I tell you,
Because the stress.
right?
I was gonna get to that.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
So
the love was different.
The thing is, right, when you're able to go on those vacations, when you're able to go and splurge a little bit. We can go to, we love Mastros, right? Y'all know Mastros down in the seaport. That's like a regular occurrence almost for us. We love that butter cake. You had a butter cake at the end. We go get cappuccino and the butter cake, right? And so in all seriousness, right, that the mental health aspect of your finances, they are so locked in sync. And if you have your finances right, that the stress that you feel when you have to pay debt or when you have this bill coming up and you don't necessarily know where that money is coming from, that's no longer there. Yeah. So you have all of that space and that energy and that time to now turn it towards your spouse in a positive manner, right?
I love this.
Yeah.
This is and all these they're just giving us the general because that means that on April 26th. We got to go down and we got to find out all this information. These stories are so interesting and very inspiring because I think that everybody aims to, or most people want to be financially free. They want to have just some financial comfortability at this point. Yeah. And then they also want relationships. That's not something that is missed. So, who is the target audience for this? Is it couples or is it anybody that is just interested in getting, getting right?
Single people, and so everyone in this room could come.
Wow! Don't put us out.
Y'all might find someone.
I see what you did there.
They coming for the same thing you coming for.
I see what you do in this speed dating. Wow!
You got the therapist there already too. You already got the therapist there, like, yo, come in the room with me.
Yeah. Do we work?
Do we work?
I just met him 2 minutes ago. Do he love me?
Married couples and singles, but yeah, we're gonna really. I love, he brought up house hacking. The idea of mortgage before marriage, right? We know we have City of Boston have a lot of programs, right? So the idea is, look, you buy a FHA home, you use the City of Boston programs, and you do you. Your partner's going to do the same. The good thing, you can't use the City of Boston program on a second home, but you still could use FHA again if you refinance out. So you still put another 3.5 down on the second home, right? So all you have to do is wait
too much. They got to pull up. You're giving too much.
Yeah.
So
wait. I gotta do this.
Gotta pull up.
This is the trailer. This is the trailer.
It's the hookup.
Yeah, this is the hook.
I'm just saying.
Look. I know what I'm doing.
There's gonna be more. There's gonna be more.
I gotta finish this. I'm bringing it all together. So now you have 4 homes in a relationship, right? So you could say, all right, do we want to make this happen now? Do we want our tenants to pay for our marriage now, our wedding now? Or you could do it again, right? And now you have 6 homes. So at 6 homes, then you get married, or it's game over.
We outside.
So you're outside.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to want to have children. But then private school, you might want to say, I want to go private school, but who's going to pay for private school?
Buy another house.
But you did all of this work, so you could relax and you could improve the love. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important people understand that. Look, you could buy one house, don't get married, buy another house, don't get married, buy another house and buy another house, and then get married. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense now if you do it the other way. You get married and buy a home. You can only use the program once.
No.
So you just waste.
Because you need to be separated.
Yeah, because it goes by your income as well. So now you might get married, and your income now you make too much to even take advantage of the city of Boston's program. And
this is the co-purchasing program, right?
Okay. Or any program, or even Chase, or even any.
We'll bring you back to talk about co-purchasing.
I know. Because wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm there. Because if you stop here, I'm there. Because if you give me too much, I might not come.
You don't know, you don't know how to do it. I'm just telling you.
Right, but we got to come to the thing to learn how to do it.
I'm showing you a car. You don't know how to get to A.
No, but I'm glad that you said that, and that's what we see that on the internet all the time. You give somebody, you tell them what could happen. And then you go to the program and you learn how to make it happen. Exactly. So I appreciate that segue because I know everybody's trying to figure out how I could buy 4 houses with my girlfriend right now, or my man right now. So that's where we want you guys to be, figuring out how you can get it done. April 26th at 1617 Blue Hill Ave. What time are we there?
11:30.
Is there going to be food?
There's going to be food.
All right. Count me in.
There's
you sure?
You sure? Y'all could have led with food over the houses, and that's the problem. Wow. I'm buying the sandwiches.
Are you sure?
I'm there. I'm there.
At what time?
11 o'clock, right after the show. We're gonna bounce right over there. Boom. And then we're gonna come right there. Kicking in the door, waving in the 4-4,
but make
looking
sure
for love.
You register.
How do we register?
You register by visiting Spark FM's Instagram.
You're right, and we'll put the link in our bio so you guys can register right there. We'll post the flyer on there with more information, and when y'all get that information, register immediately. Don't wait till later. Register right now.
It's limited space.
Tired of you. It's limited space. And it's limited food.
And I just want to, I don't know if this is the end. I feel like we're about to get kicked out, but
you are.
Okay, cool. I felt the energy. I was like, this is how
Bills
it feels.
Gotta be paid.
At the Grammy, they played music, but here I feel the energy. Just shout out to the women. I just want to shout out women. Single women have been buying homes and out buying homes. Buying homes for single men, and it's crazy because I was looking at the history of women. In the 1800s, Mississippi was the first state to allow a woman, but they had to be married, to purchase a house.
Wow.
And only in the around 1970, we finally allowed unmarried women to own homes in their name.
I want you to hear what he said. 1970.
Yeah, that's like yesterday.
Yeah.
So I just want to say shout out to the beautiful queens. We appreciate you. We support you. Keep going. Keep growing. And I want you in the building and on the 26th of definitely hands down on the 26th of April. Let's get it at Chase Bank Mattapan. Mortgage before marriage, finances before fiance, Rockefeller before Beyonce.
One more time with the 50 Cent line?
City of Boston, you are now rocking with Alex E. Edwards. Yeah, let's go. Where's my bomb? Can I get a flex bomb? Yeah. Can I get a spark bomb? What's up?
With that said, people, it is way past our time, and we've got to pay people. So we will be back tomorrow morning, Tuesday, with Super Tuesdays with Carlos Enriquez. We'll get into some stuff. Remember, next week, we got Josh Kraft in the building. We'll be booking Domingos DeRosa very soon before we get into Mayor Wu. Yeah. With that said, we'll see you guys later. Don't forget, April 20th is our 5-year anniversary right here at Spark FM Online. Ooh. We'll see you guys later. Number 1 for urban and Caribbean music.
Boom.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
Advertise your business, brand, or music on Spark FM. Contact us at sparkfmonline.com for more information.